Well, all right, Grace Church. It is Wednesday morning, September 23rd. Beautiful, cool fall morning. I'm so excited that fall has begun to settle in a little earlier this year. I can't believe it's in the middle of September and we are already starting to see the weather we are right now, which for me personally makes me pretty happy because I love the fall and it's my favorite time of year. But I digress. Here's some things I want to share with you as it relates to a few tweaks we're making as it relates to our Sunday morning protocols as a church for our safety protocols. Okay. Now we're under phase yellow. Phase yellow right now requires social distancing in our sanctuary and in our fellowship hall, and of course, as much as possible as we're moving out through the building. And we've required up until this point wearing a mask as you're moving about through the building in both Sunday school and worship. Okay, all fellowship, you don't have to have them on when you're actually in the classroom or in your worship center or worship space, or if you're outside. We're not trying to go, overly govern those things, but because of the recent change in Bill Ketron's, who is the mayor of Rutherford County's change in the mandate for masks, where now there's no requirement for masks in public spaces, except for those who choose to require one for their spaces. We have chosen to allow the same kind of flexibility in our church. So if you come on Sunday mornings, whether it be Sunday school or worship, you are not required to wear a mask as you move about the building. But we are asking you to be hyper vigilant. This means that we still need to be focused on social distancing. We don't need to be up in each other's faces. We don't need to be congregating in the hallways. We need to do all the things we can to make sure we remain as safe as possible. I believe we're trending in the right directions. Now, I don't know who else feels that way, but at least as I determine, or at least the way I'm in kind of watching things happen, I believe we're heading in a good direction. I believe God has really protected us since May when we began meeting again. Now, with that said, we will no longer require those masks as you move about the hallway, but we're certainly encouraging those who want to wear masks to wear a mask. And frankly, if your comfort level will let you do it, please do it anyway, because it might just be an extra step of safety. But we're not going to require it, and you do as you feel you can do as you come to worship with us on Sunday morning. We have tried to remain consistent, where our local magistrates and even our state governor has tried to put in policies that respect the freedoms of everybody, but yet at the same time, in certain times and spaces, they've tried to make sure that we are all not only respecting our own personal freedoms, but we're actually caring for the good of the rest of the neighbors. We've tried to maintain that balance, and it's not always easy to do so. And we know that there's no perfect decisions in this situation, and we're not going to sit there and try to critique every decision that's been made, both for our magistrates and frankly even our own decisions. We're just praising God because He's allowed us to be in a healthy as we went through this process. Now, with that said, there's one other small change that's happening. We originally intended to have the fourth Sundays of the month, September, October, November, to be outdoor worship services. Because it would be quite complicated as we begin to discuss it more and to work with the First Free Methodist Church as well as with our Sunday school hour, worshiping outside was going to become quite difficult for us during the Sunday morning worship gathering, or the Sunday morning gathering of our church. So we're not going to do an outdoor service, but we're still going to try to provide means for the whole church to gather once a month. So last week we had the fellowship at Justin and Allison's house. We're going to do the same thing in October and November, but we may add a worship element for those as well, so that we can gather, worship, pray as God's people, in addition to sharing a meal together. Okay, so you should be looking for those on October 25th, I believe, and then November 24th, which is the Sunday before Thanksgiving. And one for Thanksgiving will be more focused on prayer Thanksgiving as a people of God praying and worshiping together, perhaps, and we're going to be looking at all those elements as we get closer to those times. But we will not be meeting outdoors, and so you need to make sure that you are sitting with your shepherd group, whoever that may be, whoever you've been assigned to, this coming Sunday. If you're in the fellowship hall, you will be with Justin Long's shepherd group. If you're in the sanctuary, you'll be under the Bradley and the LaFave group this week. Okay, so we're trying to rotate evenly across the board, so about every third week, everyone has a run down in the fellowship hall. But still come, be a part of it, and make sure you understand that when we don't follow those rules, what happens is we end up being a little bit too tight in the sanctuary, and we really need to make sure everyone's mindful of that on Sunday mornings, okay? Because again, we don't want to do anything that will require us to elevate our phase into phase orange and require masks again, okay? So do your part, help us out as much as possible, and make sure that you're considering the needs of the entire church, not just our own personal needs, as we go through this process. Okay? Love you guys. Looking forward to gathering with you on Sunday. Daniel chapter 4, if you want to read ahead. Great story about Nebuchadnezzar's humility and how God brings him to his knees, actually brings him all the way to the point of insanity before God resurrects him, and it seems to be that he's converted at the end of the chapter. Looking forward to kind of getting into that and the role of pride in our life, as well as how God uses humiliation and humility to bring us into new life with him. Okay, so see you Sunday, 9 o'clock for Sunday school, 10:30 for worship. Hope you can join us. It's going to be a great time. We'll see you then. If you have any questions, please, you can forward those to me or any of the elders, and we'll be happy to answer anything we possibly can. All right. Have a great week.